Hello, my name is William Mesa, and today I'm bringing you a countdown of my favourite Diamond League events, and this is part 1.
Featuring overly intense theme music, a prejudice towards the hammer throw and field events in general, as well as a poorly designed website and a scoring system alienating to all but the most ardent fan, the Diamond League has been part of our lives since 2010. The format works by taking 14 or so Grand Prix meetings around the world as part of a series and awarding athletes points based on where they finish. The ins and outs have changed, but it awards consistency and bothering to turn up, as well as how you perform and the performance in the all-important final event of the year. All Grand Prix award the same number of points, although not all Grand Prix are of the same quality. This, as follows, is my ranking based on nothing other than how much I've enjoyed them over the previous decade. This is entirely my opinion, and feel free to agree or disagree in the comments below. And remember, if you enjoy this video, then make sure to watch it to the end. This is the first video. It's going to be 15 down to 8, so a part 1. Here we go. There have been 15 Diamond League events held at locations that have been largely consistent since 2010. The exception is the British Grand Prix, as in the one which is not held in London. This has changed from Birmingham to Gateshead to Glasgow, based on which side of the bed the organisers apparently got out of when they decided. And partly for that inconsistency, this event is 15th and last on my list. It has always felt a bit inconsistent, a bit unloved, and somewhat down on the priority list of the organisers. It's also not an event with a particular history or tradition in the same way that, let's say, Oslo might be. British athletics is making a case for Birmingham becoming the home of track and field in the UK, and the Alexandra Stadium has been redeveloped in the past decade, and is something that is worthy of a top-tier event now. In 2022, it is set to host the Commonwealth Games, and this is a track that will look nicer in the years to come, one worthy of hosting a Diamond League event. Having been to this stadium, it is not the nicest area of Birmingham to travel to, and doesn't exactly show off the UK to international fans, but I hate to say it does compare favourably to the Gateshead International Stadium, which unfortunately represented the UK on 2 occasions in the Diamond League in 2021. The first event was a washout. Nothing more to say than that, really. I made the pilgrimage up to the northeast for the second one in July. The weather was nicer, but I found the facilities to be slightly wanting. The stadium was rusty, there were no vendors or places to buy food nearby, and there were just a few temporary toilets outside. It was a meeting that attracted fewer star names than the average Diamond League. And some of those who did turn up were not impressed. Johannes Vetter took to Instagram to complain about the track, calling it a competition. Perhaps he was quoting Usain Bolt. For a Grand Prix that's been around forever, performances have been impacted by traditional northern English weather. The wind did blow in favour of Asafa Powell in 2006 when he ran a then world record 9.77 over 100 metres. Christian Olsen jumped a impressive 17 metres 74. Jan Zelezny threw a javelin 95 metres 66. And Yelena Isinbayeva set one of her 10,000 world records here, pole vaulting 4 metres 87 in 2004. And there are 3 Diamond League records set at the British Grand Prix, albeit in events that are rarely run, such as the men's 600 metres and the men and women's 2 miles. There have also been some magical Diamond League moments here. Julius Lego argued with officials over his 91 metre 39 javelin throw, which was initially called a foul and then later overturned. And Mutez Barshim jumped 2 metres 40 in 2017 and then took the bar home with him. Next up is the New York Grand Prix, which I am now learning was actually called the Adidas Grand Prix, and prior to that, the Reebok Grand Prix. The event ran for 11 years, from 2005 to 2015, before stopping, perhaps before it could be named the Nike or perhaps the Puma Grand Prix. Before this came a Diamond League event in 2010. 2 world records were set here. Usain Bolt ran his first over 100 metres, clocking 9.72 in 2008. And the best Ethiopian female runner not called Dibaba clocked 14 minutes 24 over 5 kilometres in 2006. Becoming a Diamond League event in 2010, New York began to welcome the world's best to the Itchan Stadium, which has a 5,000 capacity and is the smallest venue to have hosted a Grand Prix. It always had the feel of a fun, smaller meet, put in the big time, perhaps against its nature, and it almost felt as if organisers wanted the prestige of hosting a meeting in the Big Apple, and this was something of a stretch. This was not a Grand Prix of the calibre of the Prefontaine Classic, and it always felt like the other meeting in America, at least for me. From one year, it rained so much that it was actually hard to watch, and I don't mean because of the lower standard of competition, but because the feed was coming and going. It was when Steve Mullings beat Tyson Gay in what must be the slowest ever 100-metre running time in Diamond League history. My best memory of this meeting was Mutaz Barshim, him again, going toe-to-toe with the underappreciated Bohdan Bondarenko, right at the heart of the mid-2010s golden age of the men's high jump. Both athletes cleared 2 metres 42 and got about as close as we've come to a just slightly too far out of reach world record. The Grand Prix lasted until 2016, when it was dropped from the calendar in favour of a street meeting to try and attract a younger audience.
Word!
Its spot was taken by the event which is next on my rundown, the first and so far only Diamond League meeting in Africa. The Meeting International Mohammed VI d'Athlétisme de Rabat, or the Rabat Diamond League as it is most commonly known, was established in 2008 to bring top-class athletics to the Moroccan capital. Morocco has some amazing athletes and has had some great names over the years, and a proud tradition, particularly in the middle distance events, a tradition that continues today. With it being such a hotbed of athletics talent and support, it is only right that the sport's most prestigious non-championship ranking-based intercontinental Northern Hemisphere Wanda-sponsored series has an event in Africa. Formula One could learn a lot. Usually taking place in June, the Rabat meeting is right in the middle of athletics' busiest period, and it's the time of year when following the sport becomes actually quite stressful. And consequently, this is the one event that does not attract all the names who might be on the start list for, say, Monaco. Perhaps for this reason, the meeting records in Rabat are not of the same standard to other meetings, save that is for the men's discus, where Jamaica's leading non-track athlete Frederick Dakers managed a monster 70 metres 78 discus throw in 2019, which is a Diamond League record. At the other extreme, this is not an event to see a fast 400-metre hurdles, at least not yet. Felix Sanchez holds the men's record with 48.93, which is not a time to worry Rasmus Maggi, let alone Karsten Warholm. And the women's 400-metre hurdles is a record set by Vania Stambolova of 53.68. The crowd is sun-drenched, if a bit patchy, inside what is one of the most unique open stadiums on the tour. But what the crowd lack in number, they make up for in noise, and that puts a lot of pressure on the home names such as Abalati Igrida, Sofiane Albikali, and Rabedi Arafahi to turn up and perform if the event is to be considered a success. Rabat is, at least for the most time, guaranteed good weather, but the same could not be said for the next on the list. Yeah, I admit I thought this next event was called the DN Garden, but I've just found out it's called the Bauhaus Garden, which makes it sound a bit like a large-scale artwork. This is one of the oldest events in world athletics, having been staged back to 1967. Its venue, the Stockholm Olympic Stadium, is even older, dating back to 1912, and is a beautiful structure and intimate setting with a capacity of around 13,000. 3 world records have been set here over the years, most recently Wilson Kipketer over 800 metres in 1997. The only Diamond League record was set here last year, in fact, with Femke Bol clocking 52.37 seconds over 400-metre hurdles. And that one is on borrowed time, so let's enjoy it while it lasts, Sweden. There is a lot going on for this event, but it only ranks 12th on my list because of its timing. So often it has the unfortunate honour of being held only days after that year's major championships, And as a result, we get tired, somewhat hungover athletes, and the quality is a marked drop from what we've seen the week before. Number 11 is the meeting with the most stands to reason name, Diamond League Shanghai. You can't go wrong with a name like that, Diamond League Shanghai. And according to World Athletics, you can't go much wrong with the event itself, which has been staged almost religiously as the second meeting on the calendar since 2010, being missed off in 2020 for obvious reasons. Diamond League Shanghai has for years been the only East Asian date in the diary until the next Chinese event makes its debut. The Grand Prix has been a favourite of athletes for years because the track is based within a hotel, or rather the stadium complex is where the competitors actually stay. Nick Simmons said in his book that hotel staff were known for being quite generous to athletes. And I'm not sure, but it might be for this reason or for some other reason that the two-time Olympian and CEO of Run Gun chose to make his final ever Diamond League outing here in 2016. Having not been to China or experienced any other kind of massage other than the ones you get on those chairs at shopping centres, I am going to have to judge this event from what I've seen on TV. My best memory of this event is when Lu Zhang made a comeback over 110-metre hurdles to win in 2012. Luvo Manyunga also set a Diamond League record here in the men's long jump, which was actually surprising. Who knew that this was the stadium where that record was set? This event usually comes at the very beginning of the season. It's usually one I'm particularly hyped up for, having been starved of athletics for months by the time it's usually held in late May or early June. But it's not my favourite. The stadium is usually half full, there is little atmosphere, and it's staged with such little fanfare that I can be watching it and still wondering if it's really happening. We'll see how this second Chinese event compares, and if the most populous country in the world is still allowed 2 meetings, then surely a small country in Europe is allowed 2 as well. So the first in my top 10 is Lausanne. This picturesque Swiss city might win top prize for the most beautiful stop on tour, and it is also the first of what might be considered generally the middle tier of the Diamond League meetings, which is to say I generally enjoy this next band a lot more than the previous 5, but not as much as what is to come. Lausanne has been a fixture on the calendar since the very beginning, and for good reason. I am, by the way, at this point continuing to show scenery because why wouldn't I? Athletisme, as it is known, has been staged here since 1977 and at its current venue since 1986. The pronunciation of this stadium I'm going to have a go at, but I apologise for anyone who can speak French. Stade Olympique de la Pontaise. This is the stadium where Lu Zhang took Colin Jackson's world record in 2006, and it is also where Yelena Isinbayeva set another of her 10,000 records. Neither were in the Diamond League, however, but we have had some amazing performances under the new regime. Johan Blake ran a 9.69 100 metres, which we thought was going to propel him into the Usain Bolt territory, but it actually turned out to be his Prix. Fellow modern legends Wade van Niekerk, Yulimir Rojas and Maria Lasitskini have also set Diamond League records here to suggest this is a very fast track with some serious pedigree. One feature that marks this meeting out for me is how the track is positioned in a way that you will never quite see lane 8 or 9 for the first 50 metres until they emerge from a mysterious darkness. Athletisme is a great event, but maybe just not quite the best event in Switzerland. Or even indeed as good as Rome, which is 8th on my list. The Golden Gala was last year held in Florence, but for other years of its existence, it has been held at the Stadio Olimpico, the host for the 1960 Olympic Games. For much of the year, it is the home ground of Serie A football clubs Roma and Lazio. But despite what West Ham United seem to think, it is possible for an athletic stadium to, host athletics once a year. This is another event that seems as old as the sport itself, home to many world records, including 2 that still stand from Hichem El Garouge and another that doesn't anymore from, you guessed it, Yelena Isinbayeva. Since becoming the Diamond League, the event has witnessed 3 world records which still stand, but my memory of this one, and I really have no idea why, is when Andrew Howe, the original American-Italian sprinter, won a 200-metre race before a home crowd. It's a classic event, but I'm not sure if this one is quite of legendary status. Perhaps because the patchy crowd inside a huge stadium I don't know, it feels a bit lost in there and it doesn't quite have the buzz of some of the other events. A buzz that, strangely, for a tiny Gulf state, I associate with Doha, which is the final meeting in this part 1 of my rankings. World Athletics apparently cannot get enough of Doha, choosing it to host the World Indoor Championships in 2010, the World Outdoor Championships in 2019, and the first leg of every Diamond League since its inception, COVID years aside. I love this one because it comes right when I am craving athletics the most. The Samad bin Hamad Stadium is a smart, small arena that's often packed out by Ethiopian fans who've made this their home event. The result is a lot of noise and some thrilling long-distance races. Eliud Kipchoge holds the event record here for the 5,000 metres, and in 2012, Paul K. Courage, one of the great Grand Prix and not so much great championship runners, posted one of the fastest ever times over the 3,000 metre steeplechase. The smaller size of the stadium, I'm told, makes it great for throwing events, which has led to Thomas Roller setting the stadium record for the javelin, and Sandra Perkovic for the discus. The Doha World Championships were among my least favourite. The Grand Prix Stadium has a club and community feel which is not necessarily recreated on a bigger level, and the World Championships lost all that is good about the Diamond League event in 2019. The 2019 Grand Prix was moved to the Championship Khalifa Stadium in preparation, but thankfully in the past 2 years it's reverted to the original base, where long may it stay. Okay, that's just about enough of me droning on for one day. Come back for part 2 if you liked this one, but obviously don't if you didn't. Let me know your least favourite Diamond League events in the comments below, and the ones that you wish would be scrapped in favour of a street race.
Word!